gotten probably 3 positive comments in the past 7 months. They're calling me crazy at work, but it doesn't deter me. I continue to post what I can.
Well, they call you crazy in the mid-'90s. They called Ross Perot crazy, saying NAFTA and GATT would shut down our industry. It did. I mean, I guess if you gave somebody the winning lottery numbers, you'd be called crazy. Or if you told somebody to drill for oil in 1870 and you discovered it and became a billionaire, you'd be crazy. I mean, all of this is happening. The whole world admits this is horrible, and then you're being called a kook.
It bothers me that people cannot see. At this point in time in our city, in our county, they're trying to roll out Agenda 21. They're calling it SAPA. If you look at the SAPA map and if you look at the Agenda 21 map, it is identical. I created a Facebook page. I've gotten no comments whatsoever. None. It's very, very distressing. I care about people. I don't like what I see, what's happening in different departments. I don't like standing on people's rights. I will not go along with this. Absolutely no way will I ever go along. Well,
I'm sad you feel like you're alone. Let me assure you, if you were publicly known, you would know that liberty is on fire and that the biggest news sites out there are all, quote, conspiracy sites. That means sites that actually question the system. I've talked to a lot of police here on air. You've heard them say that on average about half their department or more is now awake. But there are pockets where people aren't very awake. And also what happens is, on average, folks that are on Facebook and things, on average, it's kind of dumbed down. It's about partying and where you're going and friends. And so people don't really want to hear about it there. That's why we've never been, I mean, we're big on it, Facebook and Twitter, but nothing compared to folks that are just in the entertainment business. Because, you know, that's more of like a digital bar. You don't want to go to the bar, you know, to hear about, you know, tax forms or something. And so that's why you're seeing that happen. I would suggest that you get into, and, you know, create an identity on some of the message boards like Prisonplanet.com, the forum, or places like the Daily Paul, or you know, any of those forums out there. And there's trolls there as well. I mean, a lot of these people are what they call sock puppets. It's really programs that'll come out. I mean, we've tracked the IP addresses of these, telling us we're kooks, we're scum, we're evil. And a lot of times it's a sock puppet doing it. It's not even a human. So don't feel bad. In fact, if you want to plug your Facebook, you're welcome to. I'll guarantee you, you'll find some fellow people in Pennsylvania, Elaine.
Absolutely. My name is Elaine Bozak. I have a page on Facebook. It's Opposed Implementation of SAPA Agenda 21.
Awesome.
I posted so many videos. I'm trying to wake people up. I will not be deterred. I will not be deterred. I do not care what they call me. I just have to go straight ahead. I can't look left or right, and I will continue to do this. And God bless you, Alex Jones.
Well, God bless you, and I appreciate your call, Elaine. I hate for folks to give their name out on air because sometimes people can abuse that and say somebody's name who they are, and I can tell Elaine is who she says she is just from her voice. But plus, it's a Facebook account, so that's good, folks. Go check her out there. So she's opposing the UNESCO Agenda 21 global takeover. Folks might want to find out about that and discover that your town, your city, your county, in almost every case, is adopting it and even has documents saying they're adopting it. They've got signs up at some of the parks here in Austin saying it's part of a UN takeover. All the big national parks have them. And I was at the Grand Canyon a month ago, and you've seen the video of it happening. Nobody's around. Maybe every 2 minutes somebody walks by. I'm at the visitor center out on the side of it, out there with the wind and drizzle. And I get into the little portico and start videotaping the UN sign that says it's been handed over to the UN, as I did 14, 15 years ago in my that's in my film America Destroyed by Design. And I start talking about the UN taking over America. Then I'm going to your calls. I'll finish the story. And I start talking about that, and all of a sudden a guy wearing like a windbreaker with American flags and stuff all over it, older gentleman, I think he's probably about 65, 70, comes over and says, "Hey," you know, to his wife, I need to take a photo of this. This guy won't be quiet who's talking. He starts trying to, like, bull into my space. So I turn around and say, "Oh, you don't like what I'm saying? Oh, you want to, you know, get in the shot? Okay, I'll put you on YouTube." But the minute he heard me talking about the UN taking over America, he's like, huh? See, it's unpatriotic to say America's being taken over. Because he doesn't want to have to face that. He just wants to say, how dare you say America's got a problem? He's lazy. He's delusional. So he thinks if you call up and say, hey, there's a fire at this location, please send a fire truck. It's almost like he's saying, you set it on fire. Or if he just says there's no fire, it doesn't exist. We're the ones warning people, and he's like, hey, don't you talk bad about America. But that's what people do when, on average, when a doctor tells them, they've got some horrible disease. They'll get mad and say, I don't believe that, doc, and stomp out. It's called denial. And denial is one of the biggest problems we face. But the fact that you're being made fun of, I wouldn't worry about it. And a lot of these sheep only go off title and officialdom. So start as a private citizen your own, Pennsylvania group against Agenda 21. Put out, ads in places. The first meeting, 5 people might show up if you're lucky at the library. But you stay on it like a woodpecker, you'll have thousands listening to you within a few years. All right, I'm going to shut up and go to your calls now. I am long-winded, aren't I? Mike, who's military in Colorado, giving us his view on it being Bill of Rights Day, 200-plus anniversary, 222 years. And this is the day that it goes to Obama's desk to be robo-signed to allow citizens to disappear into black holes. What's your view of this, Mike? We were always told that the really bad guys do stuff like this, but Stalin and Hitler wouldn't put it on paper. I guess only America does that.
Well, it's not great, Alex. No, it's not. But I don't really want to talk about Obama. My question to you is about Ron Paul, actually, if that's okay.
Sure, whatever.
So you're aware that Ron Paul said there was absolutely no evidence that 9/11 was an inside job, right?
I don't have to agree with Ron Paul on 100% of stuff. He has talked about the government staging Gulf of Tonkin. He said Fast and Furious is a criminal false flag and that Holder should be criminally investigated. He's a constitutionalist. And so, I know Ron Paul personally. I know people that know him personally for decades. He is the real deal. He is a great man. And so people get mad at him that he's not going into 9/11 truth. I think at a certain level, Ron Paul understands that would be, at his level, political suicide to do that.
Well, I'd completely agree. I mean, why would anyone believe something so crazy like that, Why would someone like Ron Paul associate themselves with you? I mean, he's trying to win the presidency, and here he is going on the Alex Jones show. Come on.
Yeah, well, I can tell you've got a cynical, fake, satisfied sound to your voice, and you heard Ron Paul on the show if you've listened before, or it's maybe your first time if you're a seminar caller. But the point is, Ron Paul talks about the Gulf of Tonkin being staged. He's talked about the CIA shipping drugs into the country. They talked about the guns being shipped in to Mexico and drugs back into this country being a false flag. So when there's bona fide proof, Ron Paul will go with it. But when it's Building 7 blowing up and all the rest of it, clearly the official story of 9/11 has holes in it. It's clearly not true. But then it becomes a quagmire. So I think Ron Paul has probably done the right thing overall, not going there, because it can't be 100% proven one way or the other. We just know the official story is a fraud, Mike. Mike, I heard you said you don't want to go, because I open the phones up, and I don't screen the calls, but once a week or so I say it specifically on a subject. I said I want to hear military about secretly arresting citizens. Do you kind of get a thrill up your leg when you think about playing video games against the American people? I mean, does that kind of thrill you?
No, it doesn't, Alex, but I'll tell you this much. You and, your whole team it's bringing down the cause quite a bit. You're making all of us true patriots look like idiots. That's what I think about that.
Listen to your fake, satisfied voice. In fact, what do you really do for a living, Mike?
I gotta disguise my voice a little bit, I'll admit it, but,
No, Mike, you're not in the military.
Excuse me?
We're taking calls from people in the military about police and military, will you violate the Constitution now that they've basically tried to overthrow it? And you called in to talk about me bringing down the cause. I appreciate your call. The cause is liberty, and I have my First Amendment. And I am enlightening and awakening people, and I am trailblazing, covering the hardcore subjects that no one else will cover. So it makes it easier for people to cover other subjects. I'm moving the Overton window further towards liberty and freedom by being extremely brave and really saying it like it is. You know what the Overton window is? Probably not. That caller probably doesn't. That's a political theorem dealing with, you have a political window of what's acceptable. And the globalists have moved it slowly to be anti-family, anti-free market, domesticating us into tyranny of what's acceptable. And there's a tactic to really have groups do extreme things to pull it one way or the other. So they're doing all these extreme things to make it look like it's not extreme, to move towards it a little bit. I'm trying to go towards liberty, and I am trailblazing. And my material has been seen on YouTube alone by over 350 million people in the last 2.5 years. I reach 15 million people on XM, on AM and FM, on global shortwave, on satellite, on #1 talk radio show on the web, #1 even above music on Shoutcast. Yeah, I'm a failure. Me might work for the military actually with that PSYOP. Or you're so conditioned by the society that that zombies will actually regurgitate PSYOP at you because they've been programmed with it. But you're bringing down the cause. You're failing. You're a failure. Your team's a failure. He wanted my team to feel like failures. We'll just put in some extra hours today just to show you what failures we are. Your attack on us shows you're bleeding out and how weak you are. That's what it shows. I know we're winning. I know we're going to defeat tyranny because we planted the seeds beforehand. And you're not going to dissuade anybody from that. Ron Paul has exponentially grown in popularity. And even if he doesn't win, which he has a good chance of doing now, even though with their election fraud, he wins by getting issues out there that'll grow and grow and grow. You know, Ron Paul, when he was on with us 4 years ago, he launched his campaign about 3 or 4 months before. He said, I want to thank you, Alex. Half of our support has come from your audience, from the numbers we've got, the studies we've done. My audience of great patriots was half the launch pad for the test rocket 4 years ago against the New World Order. Now the new prototype is doing probably 5 to 10 times, depending on which actuary, better than it did 4 years ago. And liberty's being discussed and real issues are being put out there. And, of course, we are many, many times exponentially what we were 4 years ago. Yeah, we're failing. Ha! Boy, you better know we're going to kick your hind end and we're going to win. We're going to win big time. And you and your psyops aren't going to work on us, zombie. Let's go ahead and talk to Colonel Six in the military. Colonel Six, what's on your mind? What's your view of that last caller?
I can't say. I've got what they call a legendary temper. And it is. The word of my temper goes before me. So I'm going to just leave that like it is. You know, what I will say this. There could be no one better that any candidate could be associated with than yourself, because you are a person that over the years has persevered. You know, when people had to listen to you, had to go out to the lake to listen to you because, you know, that dude's crazy, man, but I like some of the stuff he says, man. He says, oh, here come the cops, cut it off. You know, and